it hurts. And I'm too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan.
Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of Doing It with Styles. Hey, I'm really happy to have you here. And as you can see in the background, we are paying homage to the Ukraine. And also, if you'll notice the pink ribbons, that's because of my special guest today, and that is Miss Joy Parker. Ms. Parker is a breast cancer survivor, and welcome. I'm going to let you tell your story. So, how long ago were you diagnosed with breast cancer?
October of 2021.
Just so months ago.
Yeah, a few months ago.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What was your first reaction?
Breast cancer runs deep in my family.
Okay.
Okay, so my mother was a breast cancer survivor, my grandmother. My sister was diagnosed with breast cancer at 38, and she lost her battle at 42.
Wow.
So it's very serious business in my family, and I also felt like it would be my turn. I honestly believed that at some point.
So it was something that it was a surprise, but not really?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't really a surprise. I was just extremely thankful that it was caught very early.
Okay.
Yes.
And so after you were diagnosed, what happened then? Can you walk us through the whole experience?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So I get my mammograms every year, right? Because it is, prevalent in my family. We go once a year for the exams, ultrasound and mammogram. And they saw something on the mammogram that just didn't look right to them. So they dug a little deeper. They did some more testing, decided that we needed to do a biopsy. So the biopsy was done in September, and they found that it was carcinoma, induct carcinoma inside of the breast, milk duct is where it's located. It took a very skilled radiologist to find that.
Wow.
I don't think somebody, that maybe is just starting out may have detected it because it was so early. It was literally considered a 0 from a scale on the breast cancer scale was a 0.
Wow.
Okay.
And what is the top end of the scale?
Oh, that's a great question. I believe it's I don't want to misspeak, but a 4 or a 5,
Okay.
something like that.
All right.
So it was definitely considered early stage, but I knew with my history, if I ever had a cancer diagnosis, that I was going to choose a route of double mastectomy.
Okay. Is there an alternative to that, to the surgery?
Absolutely.
I mean, is there chemotherapy or radiation therapy? Are those alternates that you could have chosen?
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
they would have to do a surgery and take out, it was in the left breast, they would
Okay.
have had to take out the infected area.
Okay.
Then they would immediately start radiation and chemotherapy,
Okay.
which I personally did not want to do.
Well, having had your mother or sister or any of the rest of your family, have you seen them go through this? Or
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, my mom had a lump on her left. It was always our left breast in our
Really?
family. Always the left.
Wow.
My mom had a lump. She was in her 60s, I believe, at the time. They removed it, and she did radiation, drove herself to radiation every day. I was so proud of her. And she was fine. She just did that treatment. She had to take a pill, I believe, for about 5 years after that, and she was perfectly fine. My sister, on the other hand, did not fare as well. My sister had a car accident, and when the airbag deployed onto her, and I don't know if it was the force of the crash, but she did have a very large mass close to her, close to like her rib cage, and,
Right.
and the accident forced it to the front.
So
forced
it was pre-existing.
Yeah, it was
and then
there.
the accident is how they found it.
Yes, sir. It was lying dormant. And again, it was the left breast, and there was we're talking a very large mass.
Right.
So they had operated on her immediately. They removed her breast immediately. She did not opt for reconstruction, so it's very traumatic when you see somebody that's cut from the middle of the breast all the way up to their shoulder.
Yeah.
Just a vertical cut with no breasts. And my sister was very large endowed. So she had a very large breast here and nothing on the left-hand side. They immediately started chemotherapy. That was at the age of 38 years old. Okay? It came back in her right breast a couple years later.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and she lost her battle at 42. And that is the thing that sticks in my head.
And not to get off the track a little bit, but isn't today or yesterday your birthday?
Yesterday.
And how old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
Sorry. 49. 49 years old.
So what would you say to women out there that say, well, you know, I don't really need a mammogram. I'll skip this year, or that's not a big thing. What would you say to them?
I would say to you, you absolutely cannot skip this year. Don't ever skip a year, because early detection will save your life. I'm living proof of that.
So you have had the surgery.
Yeah.
And when did you have your surgery?
3 weeks ago today.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So what was that like? I mean, I don't know how to ask this question in a respectful manner, okay? Mm-hmm. In a woman, and maybe I'm full of crap, but please help me. Breasts are a part of being a woman.
Absolutely.
And so to know that you are going to lose that, or to have that taken away from you, has got to be an extremely traumatic situation, or you know, how do you cope with that?
Yeah, it is very scary, because for many factors. Number one, you know, for me personally, I chose them to remove the nipples as well, because I knew a person in the past that had double mastectomy, but she left her nipples in place. Okay? She left the nipples there because, again, we want to feel normal. Okay? We want to feel a sense of normalcy. And the problem was the breast cancer came back inside the nipple, because it is considered breast tissue.
Right.
Your nipples are breast tissue.
Well, duh.
But even though when you do the double mastectomy, they're just ornamental, right? They're not attached to anything, because all the nerves, everything's been removed, okay? But they are there, and they give you that sense of normal looking appearance. Right. But for me personally, I did not want that, because, again, I want to live to be a great grandmother, right?
And you have a great granddaughter.
Yes, I have a granddaughter that's amazing, and my ultimate goal in life is to be the Gigi.
Right.
And that's the ultimate title in my family, okay? So I don't care for me so much what I look like. And don't get me wrong, right? I am doing breast reconstruction.
Right, I understand.
Because I want to look normal in a shirt.
Sure.
Like sitting here today with you, I want to look normal.
I would have no idea.
Right.
And if I didn't know, I would have no idea.
Exactly.
And how old is your granddaughter now?
5 years old.
Wow. And you have 2 daughters, do you not?
Yes, I do.
And are they both here locally?
Yep. Yes,
That's
sir.
awesome. So you were at least surrounded by your family.
Oh, gosh, so much so. My girls were amazing.
What was their reaction when you told them?
I think at first they were a little taken. They were just worried because they don't want me to die from it. You have to understand that it's because it is so serious in my family. They didn't want me to die. And when I said to them, look, this is the first stage. I'm choosing a very aggressive approach because I want to live to see your children's children be born. Okay? And once I told them that, and I said, look, once we do this, I don't have to think about it or worry about breast cancer probably for the rest of my life. And once I sat them down and we talked about it, they were like, Mom, we just want you here.
So is that the main advantage of having the double
mastectomy?
Is
yes.
that the chances of the breast cancer coming back is pretty much zero, or pretty close to it?
Yeah, they can never say zero. You have to understand they can never say that from a medical standpoint, but we're talking 90%.
Yeah.
And in my mind,
that's a pretty good
I'll take 90% any day. Yeah.
Yeah. Before you were diagnosed with the breast cancer, you were into CrossFit and also powerlifting.
Yes, sir. I like CrossFit. I love the community of it. It's amazing. Which I go to CrossFit Raw Appeal. Just want to throw that out there. They're an amazing gym. And but I fell in love with powerlifting. So there's just something to me personally about lifting, doing deadlifting and bench pressing that I got really excited about. So that's my passion, is powerlifting.
What is it about the powerlifting that you're so passionate about?
It's just like lifting being able to lift. When I tell people I can bench, that I can deadlift 300 pounds, they're like, wow, That's incredible.
Listen, I'm proud of myself if I can do 50. So.
And 50 is amazing because you know what? It's really about functional fitness for people.
Yes.
It's about moving. It's about moving things, but there's proven facts, especially with women. If we lift weights, we fight off osteoporosis better. Right. Or, you know what I mean? We're just in better shape. We can stay leaner, these types of things, which are important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love it.
So,
and I also want my granddaughter to be like, my grandmother is a badass. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. She was in the Olympics last year. Deadlifted 738 pounds. Yeah, that's my grandma.
So that's really why I do it.
Yeah. Well, at 5 years old, she's talking now, so, right?
Really talking.
Yeah.
We're having full-blown conversations.
Wow.
She's my best friend.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the last time I saw her, she was about this big, just a little bitty thing. That's amazing. So
yeah, they grow like that, John.
Yeah.
When you feed them well, they grow.
Yeah, but that's it. You're feeding them, right?
Yeah, feeding her good.
So this is, I know you've said to me a couple of times that that in some sense that this has been a positive experience to you. Can you explain that? What you mean by that?
I think it's been positive and very empowering. Very empowering because when I went to see my breast cancer surgeon for the first time, because you have to understand my breast cancer was early stage.
Right.
And when I went to her and I said, I am choosing a double mastectomy, and she says, that's your right. This is your body, Joy, and we're doing exactly what you want to do.
That's awesome.
She says, if that's what you want to do, let's get it going. And she never questioned me. She never tried to steer me a different way. She never tried to say, oh, and a lot of people said that to me. Why would you do that? Why don't you just deal with the area that is infected and just deal with that? And I
hope for the best.
And you know what? And a lot of people do that. And I want to say, I respect that. Whatever your choice is, I respect that. But for me personally, I wanted to take that worry away. And that's why I went this direction. And I was supported by my surgeons 100%.
That's great.
Yeah.
So there's enough crap in the world that's one less thing that you have to deal with now.
Yep.
So
that's it.
I commend you on that.
Thank you.
And I've known you for what, 4, 5, 6 years now?
About at least 5 to 6 years, yeah.
So I am not surprised, knowing you, I'm not surprised by anything that you've done in these last years. Thanks. And to see how you have, I'm trying to remember the actress's name who chose that same.
Angelina Jolie.
That's it. Yeah, thank you. And
how
could I forget her name? One
of the most beautiful.
Yeah.
Right, beautiful women in the world, and that's what people look at, right?
Right.
Somebody like me, it doesn't matter. I'm just an average citizen. But when people look at Angelina,
wait. You are beautiful.
Thank you. But when people look at Angelina Jolie, she's a superstar, right?
Yes, but you're a superstar.
Thank you. But she didn't even have breast cancer. She tested positive for that BRCA gene.
Right.
Okay. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly.
I know, but that's the difference.
But there's gene testing,
right?
Which I also tell anybody, if you are considering that gene testing because you have a history in your family, I would say to you, please follow through with it. Because here's the truth of the matter. If you test positive for this gene, your insurance company has to pay for your double mastectomy with your breast reconstruction. They are required to do so. Okay? So any person that just doesn't want, they have breast cancer in their family,
right? They
have the gene, they've tested positive for it, and they don't want to worry about it the rest of their life, they can choose that route.
Okay, so the insurance company is required by law to pay for that just because you have that gene.
Yes, sir.
Not because you've tested positive for breast cancer. In other words, you may not have any signs.
No.
If you've been tested for the gene and you have your gene and you go say, now I want to be tested to see if I have breast cancer, and you don't have it, you're still that option is still available to you.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely, and I think they're learning. I think they're now learning that preventative care is the best route to go. If you do a surgery for a woman and you pay for that double mastectomy with the breast reconstruction, for them is way less expensive than to do years of chemotherapy, right, radiation, and everything that's associated with that cancer diagnosis. is way more expensive for them.
So again, the insurance companies have taught us that they're going to go the cheapest route. They don't care about the patient. They just say, well, this is cheaper, so we'll do that.
And that's exactly what it is. But in my mind,
Pisses me off.
in my mind, though, that is a positive. It's a positive.
Oh, no, of course it is.
Because they are choosing to do this. These women will be living longer time, so
Right.
they're going to have to cover their health insurance for about 20 to 30 years longer.
Right.
Because some women, because they make that choice, will live, a much longer life.
Right. So you were working at the time, and I wanted to ask you about the insurance because not everyone has adequate insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And so is there any avenue for women who do not have insurance or can't afford this kind of a situation?
I definitely think Medicare is going to be an option, right? Or
Okay.
Medicaid is going to be an option for people. You can apply for that.
Regardless of their age?
That's a great question. I just don't want to speak on something that I
No, I
don't know
understand.
about. But I definitely think, for example, I worked with somebody as well that was, also laid off who has breast cancer. And she was able to get some help. She told me through, I believe it was Medicaid, she was able to get some help because she has a cancer diagnosis. She was diagnosed with breast cancer, but she's a further stage than myself.
Gotcha.
I think she's stage 2 or 3. And so therefore, same company, they laid her off as well. She was able to pick up that.
Wait. They laid her off after she was diagnosed with cancer?
Yes, sir. Both of us were.
You were laid off?
Yeah. Well, we were let go, essentially laid off, however you want to
Right.
say it. But not because, I'm not saying it's specifically because we had breast cancer.
Okay. All right.
They were making some changes.
Okay.
And we were just happened to be, casualties of that.
Because they knew they couldn't count on you anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't that
Sorry,
something?
I'm not trying to stir up any
Yeah,
crap.
I don't want to stir up anything either, but
Yeah.
there's certain facts that are involved in the situation, and
Right.
when you know that somebody is fighting for their life, essentially like that, losing their job during that time is not going to help.
Yeah, it just adds to the burden.
When she worked there for many years, by the way, I only worked there a short time. She worked there for many years.
Wow. So what would you like to tell women? What's the most important thing that you have taken yourself from this experience?
Okay. I would say, what I would like to say to women out there is, you are precious. And you are loved. And always do your breast exams. Always do your self-breast exams, at least a couple of times a year. And please get your, go to your gynecologist once a year. They will also do a breast exam when you go to your gynecologist. And then, thank you, John. And then also mammograms. And if you do have a history of breast cancer in your family, you can start mammograms at an earlier age. I believe I started mine at around the age of 30. And so that's another thing about health insurance. If you have a history of breast cancer in your family, you can get mammograms at a younger age. And I would say mammograms once a year, get your pap smears once a year, do your self-exams on a regular basis. And if something does not feel right, go to the doctor immediately. Because I also have a friend who had a lump. She knew that the lump was there, but she didn't go to the doctor for about a year later. Because she didn't have health insurance. That was the reason for it. And I say we have to put our health first. And if something is not right with your body, especially in your breast area, that you go to the doctor and you look into it, because early detection will save your life. I promise you that. It will save your life.
That's amazing. I am just so proud of you, and the fact that you were willing to come here and tell your story, and hopefully, if you can just motivate one person from this,
it's worth it.
or help one person, it's worth it. And I would love to have you back as many times as you'd like to come back. I'd like to help follow your progress.
Thanks.
And see how you're doing. And what else? Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you for being an amazing friend and all the amazing work that you do. You are awesome, and thank you for asking me to come. When you did, I felt honored, and I felt...
Well, good. Because I was afraid. I didn't know, some people do not want to talk about things like that, and especially since it was so soon, and after your surgery, and that's, I mean, the fact that you're here is just, I'm just so proud of you. I mean, you're just amazing. So
I feel very honored and very blessed. Thank you.
Good.
For having me.
You should. So anyway, you know where you can get a hold of us. And is there? Do you have an email or something that you might want to share? So if people have questions, that they can contact you.
Oh, I would be happy to.
Okay.
Anybody? Yeah. You want me to just verbally state
Yes,
it?
please, and then
Yep.
I'll put it on the screen after you. So.
Yep. So my personal email address is going to be parkerjoy14@yahoo.com. And I'd be happy to, anybody that has any questions or concerns, and if I can help you in any way, that would be amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So any questions or whatever, please contact us here at the station or contact Joy directly. And remember, this Saturday, 8 a.m., down at the Barnes & Noble on Rainbow and about Lake Mead, I'll be there doing a book signing this Saturday.
You wrote a book?
No, I just go there, and if you buy a book, you'll come by my table and I'll sign it for you.
Wow,
Just
that's
any
awesome.
any book in the store.
Awesome.
So
that's cool.
Anyway, Joy, thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
For so much.
Appreciate you.
And you all, thank you so much for supporting the station, supporting the show, and all the other shows that we have here. And don't forget, you can find us on Roku as well at WWDBTV. Don't forget to share your prayers for Ukraine and our cancer survivors. And if you're going to do it with Styles.
Yay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Nice work, John.